Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
New drivers, new liveries, new teams, new cars, and a brand new season. This is a brand new chapter in the NXTGEN Racing GT3 saga. And we start today with Season 7 of this GT3 League, hosted by NXTGEN Racing. Welcome along, everyone. I cannot wait to get going tonight. It's going to be a thriller tonight, and it's going to be a thriller over the next 11 weeks, where we have 10 rounds featuring some of the greatest tracks in the world. My name is Alex Everett, your commentator tonight, as well as all 10 rounds in this championship that starts tonight. The NXTGEN Racing GT3 season is sponsored and affiliated with the following companies included: PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC, Doble Motorcycles, and of course NXTGEN Racing putting on this league, as well as many others, including a Legends League hosted on Tuesday night and a Touring Car League hosted on Tuesday nights, which in the upcoming season is going to have 2 servers, so we cannot wait to see how that gets on in its 8th season. I might be wrong about that, but plenty going on here at NXTGEN Racing, and if you are a driver on iRacing, you can join the Discord community that will get you involved in the NXTGEN Racing chats and community. Scan the QR code on the lower left of the screen there, and that will take you to the Discord server hosted by NXTGEN Racing. You can even join that if you are just a fan of NXTGEN Racing, if you just like to get involved in the chats and the banter and just keep an eye on all news that is NXTGEN Racing. So, this is our GT3 season. It's 7th season. It is my 3rd with you all. I started off with the Proto GT3 split in Season 5, and we had a GT3 only season last time out for Season 6. We got more GT3s again this season, and just a recap on the format of the racing that is involved in this racing on Thursday nights. It starts off with 1 hour practice, which is ongoing right now. There's about 12 minutes remaining in that. Once that practice session is over and done with, we'll have a 20-minute qualifying session that will set the grid for the sprint race. And the sprint race will decide the grid for the feature race, which is a 1 hour race, except it will be reverse grids of all categories for that feature race. Categories, I hear you ask? Okay, well, there are 3 classes or categories, however you want to call it, in this championship. They are gold, silver, and bronze. Gold typically comprises of the best drivers in the field and those champions and front runners from last season. The silver category is kind of the middle of the road drivers, and the bronze category is made up of the drivers who are lesser experienced and starting out on iRacing. This is also a fixed setup series, and what that means is the drivers are not allowed to tune their cars in any way, shape or form. The only thing they can do is adjust brake bias. So they're not allowed to change suspension settings, they're not allowed to change wing settings, not allowed to change tyre pressures, traction control, nothing like that. It is out of the box cars, and it is down to driver skill and adaptability to the cars and setups to get them to the top of the page. So, what have we got in store for you this season? These are the 10 tracks for our season ahead, and we start tonight in Italy, East Italy that is, on the coast, and it is at the Misano World Circuit, or otherwise known as the Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli, in honour of the late Marco Simoncelli, SIC 58. It was renamed after him in 2012 following his death in 2011. Came around about the same time that Dan Wheldon died from the IndyCar series as well, so it was a horrible time in motorsport, but his legacy, Marco Simoncelli and Dan Wheldon's of course, but Marco Simoncelli's in this track's form lives on. This is where we start our racing tonight. And a little bit about Misano before we get going. Opened in 1972 and it's traditionally been a motorbike circuit. It's hosted the San Marino Grand Prix of MotoGP for many, many years. But only in recent times has Misano actually come to the forefront as a well-liked GT circuit. It hosts many GT races during the season and it's become quite a favourite among that community of motorsports. It is a 2.6 mile or 4.2 kilometre circuit on the east coast of Italy, just 50 kilometres east of San Marino and 30 kilometres north of Rome. But once we finish tonight, we have got another 9 rounds ahead of us, and it will be the second round next week. 1 week from today, Watkins Glen in New York State will host us for round 2 of the championship. And you'll notice round 3, round 6 and round 10 all have different colour variations on this calendar. That is to signal the 3 rounds of this season where it will be a different format. Those 3 rounds and the one starting us off on that in round 3 at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada, it will be a 2-hour endurance race. Just a singular race, but 2 hours in length to mix up the formats of this championship, to test driver skills in the long distance races with multiple pit stops, as well as the short, quick and sharp sprint races that we have in formats such as tonight. Round 4, we're back to one of my favourite tracks and one of my locals, I suppose. My second closest track to me. It is the Donington Park Grand Prix circuit, which is a popular destination for GT cars, particularly the British GT Championship, of course. That'll host round 4 of the championship. To see us out of the first half of the season, we'll go to Circuit Zandvoort, which is the new and updated version on iRacing with the high bankings, updated to the Formula 1 spec. That will see us out of the first half of the season. And straight into the second half of the season, it will start off at Bathurst in Australia for the second of 3 endurance rounds in this championship. Round 7, returning to the series. It was last in this series in Season 5, the Algarve International Circuit, which of course is otherwise known as Portimao in southern Portugal, hosting us for round number 7. Round number 8 will be back home here in Britain. For round 8, it will be Silverstone GP Circuit. Back to Canada, the Canadian Tire Motorsport circuit will host the penultimate round of the season, and the final round of our sprint and feature race formats. And the final round, where else is it going to end, ladies and gentlemen? We're back to a season finale at Le Mans. Fantastic ending circuit to see it all out, and it won't be too far away from the actual 24 hours of Le Mans, but for us it will be a 2 hours of Le Mans to see us out of this season, the final round of this championship. What a great collection of tracks we have got there. Some obscure ones as well in there, like Watkins Glen, like Mosport, but plenty of recent Formula 1 tracks in there, and plenty of former Formula 1 tracks as well. And these are the cars the drivers have to choose from this season. We've got one extra car this season, and it is the one at the top of our list there. It is the Acura Honda-powered NSX GT3 Evo 2.2. Brand new car, well, sort of brand new car to iRacing. It came out not too long after our last season finished. But that is the newest and latest car. Shiny new toy syndrome for some of these drivers in this field, but a beautiful little car to start us off on this list. We've also got the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2, the BMW M4, the Chevrolet Corvette Z06, the Ferrari 296, the Ford Mustang, the Lamborghini Huracan, the McLaren 720S, the Mercedes AMG, and the Porsche 911 992 edition. Now, of these cars, I'm looking down my timing screen at the manufacturers that are on there, and we have a lot of Mustangs and a lot of Porsches out there, which is interesting to see. We've got a couple of McLarens in there, a couple of BMWs in there, but the ones that generally aren't that popular among the grid, which is quite a shame really, quite a surprise as well actually, is the Ferrari, even though I think 2 drivers from last season won their championships respectively in the Ferrari, including our gold champion Benji McCluskey. He switched allegiances now, car-wise that is. But also not many opting for the Mercedes or the Acura, and no drivers in the field choosing the Lamborghini, which is quite a shame. But these drivers, of course, testing these cars in pre-season, picking their favourite, picking their chariot for the season ahead. And we can certainly see that the Porsche is very, very well favoured. So, we are not far away. We're just a couple of minutes away, actually, from qualifying. And this is our track tonight, Misano. A very unconventional looking circuit, but as I said, it was traditionally a motorbike circuit. And it's actually a circuit, it's a very rare thing for me to say, actually, but it's actually a circuit I have never driven. So I'm a little hazy on actually how this track kind of flows, and I'm unfamiliar with the feeling of driving it, which is a very strange thing for me to say. I normally know every track. But, yeah, looking forward to tonight. It's a bit of the unknown for not just myself, but the drivers as well, as it is a fairly new circuit to iRacing as well. We're on the Grand Prix circuit, 4.17 kilometres in length, and there, just to remind you, is the format on our right-hand side. It is very similar format to last season, similar fuel load, similar instant point limits. The only thing that is different this season, and it's actually an addition this season, in terms of rules, is we are going to have full course cautions in this championship. It is the first time in this GT3 season that we have it, and it's because we have someone driving the safety car manually, of course, and well, we will hear the call for a safety car over the comms on the stream here. We'll hear when a safety car is deployed, and of course we will also hear the race director calling a start to the race. So it's very, very exciting. It means that a caution can be called at any point during a race, but it also means that a caution can be leveraged, I suppose, in terms of duration by the race directors, and can mean we can have a caution for 1 lap, 2 laps, 3 laps or more. It is up to the race directors to decide when it is safe to go racing. So, we're nearly going to get underway. So, a little bit of a reminder of who were or are our champions from last season. Now, he's not driving on the track at the moment, but our reigning gold champion, Benji McCluskey, now driving the Mustang, but still representing NXTGEN Racing, but the number 1 on his door, and he is going to be out to defend that this season. We have also got Kyle Oosthuizen, just gone under us there. There he is, still driving for Chris Shorter Academy Team Rosa, but he is the outgoing silver champion, and the reason I say outgoing is because he's now in gold category. He was dominant last season, similar to that of Benji McCluskey in the gold category, but Kyle Oosthuizen, for the majority of the season anyway, looked unbeatable. He had a few iffy moments during the season where things went a little bit amiss, but generally throughout the season, he was the one to beat in silvers, and he secured the championship. He'll be out there to prove what he can do in golds at the moment, and so far in practice, pretty good. Just half a second off and 6th place in this practice session. Our defending champion in the bronze category is Elwyn Sykes, also a Chris Shorter Academy driver, but Elwyn Sykes won the bronze category championship last season after the final round of the championship went down to the wire between 6 different drivers. It was an incredible spectacle last season as we went towards that final round, and it was Elwyn Sykes who took it in the end with a win in the endurance race last season at Daytona to win the championship. He's still in bronze category this season, and he'll be looking to defend that this season. So far in practice, not very good in terms of times, but maybe he's just hiding his pace a little bit. Who knows? And we'll find out when we get to the nitty-gritty of qualifying in just under 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get underway on this 10-round adventure. We start off here near San Marino on the east coast of Italy, here at Misano World Circuit. So qualifying about to get underway, as we mentioned. And it will be a 20-minute session. And in that 20-minute session, all cars will be out on the track. They must set their times within that 20-minute window. They do get, if you want to call it, stoppage time, where once the checkered flag waves, they can finish their lap. But 20 minutes in GT racing really isn't much, so they've got to warm up the tyres quickly, and they've got to get on it right from the word go. Drivers heading out onto the track right now. And just before we get things kicked off in qualifying here, before we monitor any drivers, hello to our commenters. They include Mark Kent, Katie Eames, the usual suspect in our chat. Thanks for coming along again, Katie. Alejandro Ilate, who is not racing tonight, unfortunately, but watching us from YouTube. Thank you very much, Alejandro. And Verano Esports. Where are you guys? Get your cars in this grid right now. But, well, speaking of the grids, we have 60 drivers with a categorization, so technically 60 entries into this championship. Whether we get 60 drivers turning up to the races is another thing, but a fantastic turnout yet again for this championship. So let's get with Benji McCluskey, and we're going to go on a lap of the Misano circuit, and who better to guide us around that track other than our defending gold champion. Heading down the back section of this circuit, a very fast section with plenty of right-hand corners. And this will be where you warm up the tyres with the speed in that car. And two Mustangs here, line astern, that is Benji McCluskey, and I believe in front is Gaz Williams, one of our hosts of this series. And a huge thank you to those drivers and admins who host this series. But here we go for a lap of the Misano World Circuit, on board with our gold champion, Benji McCluskey. He heads up across the line, heading towards turn number 1, a chicane that goes right and then left. Third gear, down another gear to second gear, hovering on the throttle as he gets around the left-hander. Right-hander now, the Variante del Parco. Now up here, flat braking into Curva del Rio. Sharp right-hander. Little bit of throttle to get it out of that 90-degree right-hander. And then getting on the throttle almost straight away for the left-hand kink there. The longest straight on the circuit now, under the bridge. And we'll head into a fast but tight left-hander here. Slightly banked. The Curva Quercia. Up the hill a little bit into the Curva Tramonto, which is a double apex corner similar to that of Suzuka turns 1 and 2. Nice and slow on second gear there, flat out here until we get to the Curva del Caro. A very fast section of this track. A little bit of slipstream from up ahead from Gaz Williams. There will also be for Benji McCluskey here. First sector's good from Benji, second sector is good for Gaz Williams, but someone has eclipsed that already. Now you want to be careful on these corners not to go too far over the curbs. It would be very tempting, but if you go over those curbs too far, you get an instant point and it invalidates your lap. Final couple of corners here. Turn 16, the Curva Misano, named after the circuit. Good exit from there, no oversteer at all for Benji McCluskey, and he goes to the top of the standings to all the next gen drivers who we were just monitoring just then. Williams at the front, McCluskey in the middle, and Jamie Dory just behind. Jamie Dory, our host of the NXTCC Championship. So, good start for McCluskey. Other drivers to keep an eye on, Harry Langford. Harry Langford very much had a part-time season last season, but when he came along at the Nürburgring, especially the Nürburgring GP, he won the feature race, and in the sprint race he was looking very likely for a win there, but bad luck, I can't remember exactly what happened, but bad luck hit him that race and he got sent to the back of the grid for the feature race, and it was a clinical finish off of that to get himself to the top of the standings and win the race in the feature race. So he's certainly one to look out for in the gold category tonight. Silver category though, Jeffrey Kruger. Now we know what this man is capable of. Bronze category champion of the season 5, and he won lots of races last season in the silver category, but had a lot of bad luck in the form of disconnections. but we'll see how he gets on this season. He's on his own there in silver category. Well, I say on his own, he has got teammates, I believe, in category, but he's without Kyle Oosthuizen this season in that category. So we'll see how he gets on here in what could be a breakthrough season for Jeffrey Kruger. Top of the bronze at the moment is Gabriele Papaconstantino. He had a strong showing of performances last season, and just pipping into third place there in the bronze category is Elwyn Sykes, our defending bronze category champion. Up to the top of the standings goes Lukasz Sidor in the Acura machine. Goes to the top of the standings. He's a newcomer to this season, so look out for him. He was very quick in practice and very quick in pre-season. Gold category for him, and top of the standings right now. He certainly is going to be one to look out for this season. Plenty of new drivers here this season, plenty. Corey Price, part of the Mission R motorsport cars. Oh, just getting our way of some quick drivers coming through there. But there's plenty of new teams here as well. A lot of returning teams, including Quatermass Motorsport, CSA, of course, and we're seeing Stefan Wessels exit the pits right now. Another one to look out for in the gold category this season. NXTGEN Racing, of course, return for another season. We've got the ECO team returning. We've got Crest Autosport, my team, returning. But a new team includes the Mission R Motorsport cars. They've got 3 teams in this season. Plenty of drivers representing them out there. A lot of the drivers from Quatermass Motorsport have gone over to the Mission R Motorsports team. There are 9 drivers across their franchise, I suppose, but they've got 3 different teams: Mission R Academy, Mission R Esports, and Mission R powered by Mords. So a new team to look out for this season. Okay, let's take a look at some other drivers that are doing good things out on the track. Matthew Addy's had a very good first sector, pretty good second sector, and comes across the line, does not go quicker, is still a little bit off of his PB in this session so far, but at the moment in the silver category, it's Jeffrey Kruger leading the way in the silver category by over half a second over nearest competitor, Jochen Siegert. Benji McCluskey, defending champion, in the pits at the moment, gets some fresh boots on his car, ready to go back out there. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've got near 50 drivers competing tonight, so it's going to be a very busy track out there. You can see a lot of drivers pulling over to the side, letting other drivers through, trying not to get in the way. And it's going to be very interesting, particularly in the latter part of this session, to get your laps in, to make sure you're not in the way of any other drivers, to make sure you get good slipstream from other drivers, particularly those that are fighting amongst the teams. Kyle Oosthuizen looks to be on a first time setting lap. Just trying to find him on my timing screen, because there's a lot of drivers on there, so it's quite hard to pick them all out. But Kyle Oosthuizen's back in the pits. No valid time yet from our silver champion, and he'll head back out onto the track to set more times, presumably, anyway. Danny Switzer goes to the top of the bronze category standings. Now, Danny Switzer, actually, of the bronze category, was the driver with the most wins last season in that category, and he's still in bronze category this season. He had 3 sprint wins and 2 feature race wins last season, the most of any driver, but it was very much a part-time season. So we'll see how he gets on this season, see if he's going to do more races. Now, Jeffrey Kruger's on a very good lap here. Oh, I thought it was anyway. Oh, it was, yeah, it was. There was a bit of a delay in the timing there. He went a 10th quicker than previous, so he extends his lead to 0.6 of a second over all of his rivals. Fantastic driving from the CSA driver right from the word go. Mike Barber crossed the line just a moment ago to put himself 5th on the board. Brilliant start for Mike Barber, who I'm just trying to remind myself in my stat sheet, did he win a race last season? He didn't, but he's been very close to race wins, it's got to be said. And now racing for the Quatermass team was a Verano Motorsports driver, and I imagine still is, but in this series anyway, will be a Quatermass driver. And to the top of the standings, a new leader in qualifying here. Stefan Wessels goes to the top of the standings. Just shy of a 10th, clear of Lucas Sido. Brilliant start for the CSA driver. And they'll be here with, not a vengeance, but they're here with a strong lineup this season. And very, very potent drivers, including Wessels, including Oosthuizen, including Kruger, and many, many other drivers who are very capable of taking race wins and category wins, including Sean Shute, Wesley Lewin, Elwyn Sykes, and a few new drivers as well. So we'll keep an eye on them as the night goes on. Other drivers we need to keep an eye on. Just going into 6th place in the silver category is Paul Williams and the ECO team, and I'm going to try and pronounce it here. Écurie Col d'Oiseau, should I say? Nearly got it. And that's probably wrong anyway. But a strong contingent of European drivers in that team. Paul Williams, Mark Baker and Jochen Siegert representing the team. Okay, who else have we got? Ben Altria is in the pits. 6th place at the moment for Ben Altria. Has had a race win, and I think it was season 5. And that was at Sebring, I seem to remember right. But going to the top of the standings in the bronze category, taking over Danny Switzer, is Adam Wilson-Weir in the Mission R Motorsports car, driving the Porsche. And he was Quatermass Motorsports last season, but this season races for Mission R. Got a bit of a slipstream ahead of him as well, but it's a good time for him at 1:35. Just one position overall down from Jeffrey Kruger, who is our fastest silver driver. So a big, big statement from Adam Wilson-Weir. We actually have 3 bronze category drivers right in between Jeffrey Kruger and Jochen Siegert of silver category. So some bronze drivers really taking to this track right from the word go. Couple of drivers. Oh, there we go. We've got another driver to the top of, to second in the standings. That's Chris Mason into 2nd place in the silver category. A debutant tonight. And just shy of half a second down from Kruger, but 2nd place in silvers. And 18th overall is a good start. And it should be mentioned at this point, although we're looking at the category tables there on our standings, towards the end we are going to switch it around to overall, which is going to look a little something like that. And the reason we're going to do that is because the sprint race start is a mixed grid, so there's no splitting up via categories. It is everyone starts within the same grid. So silvers are mixed in with bronzes, silvers are mixed in with golds, golds are mixed in with bronzes. So it's going to be a very, very frantic start. But we're going to monitor the categories just for the time being, and it's because there are bonus points for pole position sitters. So whoever is pole position in each category, and we should see the gaps between drivers as well to monitor them, it means that drivers are fighting for those precious bonus points. And of course, getting points on the board before the first race of the season is equally crucial. Now, speaking of which, Matthew Addy goes to the top of the standings. Someone has eclipsed Jeffrey Kruger, and it is Matthew Addy in the Sam Case's Porsche there to the top of the standings. A 10th clear of Kruger. Not safe at the moment, but a good time that puts Matthew Addy into the top 10 overall in the standings and gets him a nice start, as it stands anyway, towards the front of the grid. No response yet from our defending champion. He's in the pits getting fresh boots, but 0.3 of a second off the top spot is Benji McCluskey, so we'll have to see what he can do for the remainder of qualifying here. 6 minutes to go. Adam Wilson-Weir still leads. And look at this gaggle of cars on the main back straight here at Misano. Lots of drivers getting out of the way of others. There are harsher penalties this season for obscuring a driver's qualifying lap here at NXTGEN Racing GT3 Season 7. More race directors, more race stewards, so you will get away with far less. Into 4th place in the silver category goes Matthew Cheverton of the Aztec Racing team. 0.6 of a second off top spot, but Siegert in 5th position there is just getting knocked down a few positions each time. Needs to set in another time to challenge back towards that top 3 where he was just a moment ago. But a couple of drivers on outlaps right now, and it's because it's that time in the session where drivers are going to need to get themselves out on their outlap right now in order to do 2 flying laps for the remainder of this session. Crucial time in this qualifying here. And to that point, we're going to go to overall standings. We will monitor the drivers in their overall positions there. So there we go. Oh, and just into 11th place there. We just saw him go into there as we switched over the standings there. Carlos Stations puts himself 10th in category, 11th overall here. Puts Kruger down a position and puts more cars between Addy and Kruger, which Addy will have a big smile about. But Carlos Station into 11th at the moment. We'll see how he gets on for the remainder of this session. We've also got other drivers putting in times. Jesse Payne Wilkins, a welcome back to Jesse Payne Wilkins. He was 3rd in the championship in the GT3 Golds in Season 5. So look out for him in the Lamborghini. So we do have a Lamborghini driver in the field. I'm pleased to say it. And yeah, 14th place for Jesse Payne Wilkins in the full tilt machine there. Welcome back to the series. Okay, so we keep an eye on drivers who are out there, and we got a spin on the inside of the final corner there. That was Stephen de Gravelia in the Crest Autosport BMW, but Gabriel Papaconcino still crosses the line, stays 6th in category, 28th overall. Who else have we got out on the track? Stefan Wessels is on a yellow time there, but just going into the lead of the silver category and into 9th place, just ahead of Matthew Addy by 61 thousandths of a second. It is Jeffrey Kruger. Oh, and he spins it coming out of turn number 3 there, but just to the top of the bronze standings and 10th overall bronze driver Adam Wilson-Weir, and he's a long way clear, 6 positions clear of Danny Switzer, his nearest rival in the bronzes, and crucially he's got very few cars ahead of him at the start of this race as things stand. Other drivers who are setting times out there, we've got a couple of bronze drivers coming through, including Jonathan Berry. We can see at the bottom there, not quite making it through and denting the timing screens, but Jesse Payne Wilkins not quicker at the moment, a second off the pace. He'll go for another lap here. You'll probably be able to get 2 more laps in here. We've got silver driver Jason Raff, new driver to the series, but a driver for CSA is on a good lap there, put himself 31st in the standings. Ben McCluskey goes quicker but stays 3rd. It is a 34.2, just shy of 2/10 behind Stefan Wessels. Close margins on this 90-second lap or 89-second lap here at Misano World Circuit. And into 4th place goes his teammate Gaz Williams. 0.3 of a second off the pace there. Quite a gap between 3rd and 4th, but Gaz Williams puts himself 4th in the standings, and that is closer to the front of the field, which is all that matters. New driver this season, again, for Quatermass Motorsport, Jake Pittas goes into 13th position. Jeffrey Kruger's about to cross the line. Is 1st place. Didn't go quicker on that previous lap. That might have been an out lap, actually. But we'll see how he gets on this lap. It's very much between him and Matthew Addy at the moment. Into 5th place, and then it swaps back around again. It was Ben Altrier in the full tilt Mustang there, but eclipsing him into that top 5 is Harry Langford in the Quatermass Porsche. Brilliant battling here in the field. Jesse Payne Wilkins has put himself into 13th position. Andy Fox will be heading around the final corner here. New driver to the gold category, another one in the Mustang. And we'll cross the line in that very striking livery there. Doesn't go quicker, stays 19th overall. And 16 gold drivers in the top 20 at the moment. No driver of gold outside the top 20 at the moment. They've all set times and they're all in that top 20 region. There are 49 drivers in this session. Near 50. Near. Couple of drivers having wind down laps and then going for it. After Nigel Stocks on green sectors here. Can he go high? He does, to 9th place, and I don't know if he crossed the line in time. We've now got the checkered flag waving. So it means we are out of time in this session. So these drivers crossing the line now will not have another lap. Martin Hobson, Jeffrey Kruger goes even higher to 7th in the overall standings. Fantastic from Jeffrey Kruger, and pulls over to finish his lap there. Matthew Cheverton's also on a good lap, but Jeffrey Kruger right in the final moments of qualifying put in a brilliant, brilliant time. And we're having a little bit of an issue with the cameras there. But Matthew Cheverton crosses line, goes even higher. 3rd place in silvers, 19th overall. Good time, good finishing time from Cheverton there. I did just see Matthew Addy there, but he doesn't seem to have... he might have gone into the pits there. Has Matthew Addy? He has. No time from him. And Corey Price puts himself 7th overall in the standings. Brilliant final lap from the Dutch driver. And just into 7th place, our silver champion, Carlos Stayson, puts himself there. And Ben McCluskey finishes his lap, puts himself 3rd still, and less than a 10th. In fact, pretty much a 10th, between the top 3 drivers. That's how close it could be this season, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, don't leave your seats, because we are going straight into the race very shortly. And I think that has settled qualifying now. So that means we are going to be heading into the race very, very shortly. But our category pole sitters are Stefan Wessels of the gold category, Jeffrey Kruger of silver category, and Adam Wilson-Weir of the bronze category. They already lead the championship in their respective categories, pending any stewards' reviews, of course. So we're going to get ready for the opening session of the season, and we have got a driver still out there actually. Heading into the pits is Lewis Mason in the Acura machine, and I believe that is a bit of an agreement the drivers have, is that they will drive back to the pits if they can. Some do, some don't. It's not a rules thing, though, in this championship. But we are going to go through the grid for this opening race of the night. Round 1 here at Misano for the NXTGEN Racing GT3 League Season 7. On pole position is Stefan Wessels, the South African of CSA. And Lucas Seidel, on his debut, will start 2nd on the grid. Benji McCluskey, the gold champion, is in 3rd position with Gaz Williams in 4th. Harry Langford will start 5th position for Quatermass Motorsport with Ben Alcher in 6th position. Carlos Stayson, defending or not defending silver champion, is in 7th position with Corey Price in 8th place, debutant tonight. Pole position of silvers, Jeffrey Kruger will start 9th overall on this grid with Gavin Gardner alongside. Mike Barber in 11th with Jake Pittas on his debut in 12th position. Adam Wilson-Weir, pole position for the bronze category, starts 13th. Unlucky for some, but he'll feel that's a very good session for him. Matthew Addy in 14th. Jamie Dory in 15th position with Jesse Payne-Wilkins in 16th. Martin Hobson will start 17th with Danny Switzer in 18th. Matthew Cheverton 19th, and rounding off the top 20, Andy Fox. Ben Bennyworth and Jochen Siegert will line up on the 11th row of the field with Chris Mason and Paul Williams 23rd and 24th. Stein Vatens and Mark Sykes will line up 25th and 26th, with Simon Hunt just behind in 27th. Jason Raff on his debut will be 28th in the silver category, and Gabriel Papaconstantino, multiple race winner last season, in 29th, with Jonathan Berry in 30th. Elwyn Sykes will line up 31st with Aaron Hobson in 32nd. Nigel Stock 33rd from Andy Rooney in 34th. Lewis Mason and Wesley Lewin will line up on the 18th row, with the 19th row taken up by George Stone and Mark Baker. 20th row taken up by Phil McDougall and Andy Chell, rounding off the top 40, with Rob Savage and Sammy Ariba of Mission R Esports in 41st and 42nd. Alan McCain 43rd, with Michael Evangeli in 44th, Stephen de Gravelia in 45th, with Joppy Siemens in 46th. Gabriel Yilmaz 47th, with 48th going to Charlie Jobson Wood, and Davide Favo did not set a time in that session. So that's our grid. 49 drivers, and we have got the virtual safety car who will lead us to the lights here in this sprint race, and it's because it is a bog standard start in this race. However, the feature race will be a manual safety car start. Drivers will be led off the grid very, very shortly, and it will be the start of a brand new season here at NXTGEN. You can see the cars can creep forward now. That is Stefan Wessels waiting for the pace car to get going. Also in a Porsche is that safety car. And away we go, leading away from the back straight here. Drivers will warm up their tyres a little bit here, but it's quite a short run to the line here. It's always a short formation lap in the NXTGEN GT3 season. And because we've got a sharp kink for our final corner here, drivers will not want to lose too much momentum. So that's why drivers are getting so close here at the front already. They will not want to lose any momentum from that final corner. To start off here at Misano is quite a short dash to turn number 1. Here we go. The golds are going to get going very, very soon. Once the pace car peels off, Stefan Wessels will be able to go on the green flag signal from the virtual marshals. Here we go. Season 7 is about to get underway here in the GT3s at NXTGEN. And it is now green for a brand new season here at NXTGEN. Wessels gets a good start and is immediately onto the racing line. Benji McCluskey to the inside of Lucas Seedor as we go towards turn number 1 and turn number 2. Gaggle of cars as we head into turn 2 there. They're real close together as we look to the middle of the field. Will they all get through safely? So far, so good. And as we lead around towards turn number 3, we do have an instant further back, and it is Phil McDougall, Charlie Jobson Wood as well. But as we move back to that just a bit later on, we'll review that instant. Drivers side by side all over the field here. It's a tricky track to negotiate on this opening lap of a race. Wessels still leads from Seedor and McCluskey as we head to the second half of the lap here at Misano. Good battle going on back there. That is Carl Oosthuizen to the trying to go to the inside of Corey Price and guarding from Gavin Gardner. As we go further back, there are a couple of instants further back amongst the bronze category drivers. I have noticed Jonathan Berry has had drama, so has Andy Chell and Wesley Lewin. But side by side here between Papa Constantino and Simon Hunt, 5th and 6th at the moment in category as we head towards the final couple of corners of this lap. We'll switch now to the class standings because they are what scores the points in this series. But as we head to the end of lap number 1, it's a great first lap from Stefan Wessels as he is 7/10 clear already of Lucas Seedor and Benji McCluskey. He leads our first lap here of Season 7. Silver category, Jeffrey Kruger in 9th place is currently where he started and has quite a gap from him to Matthew Cheverton, who is in 2nd place. And Matthew Addy, not such a good start from him, drops to 3rd place and has dropped 2 places overall, so he's got a bit of recovery to make. Adam Wilson-Weir is first of the bronze category, 13th still for him, right in amongst good company there, surrounded by 2 gold drivers and a couple of silver drivers behind as well. Really holding his own there at the moment is the Northern Irish driver. So let's have a look further down the field, see what drivers are down and out supposedly here. Alan McCain has dropped off the field. Carl Oosthuizen as well is in the pits. Now let's see if we can find out what happened to Carl Oosthuizen. He is the defending silver champion. He's not going to be able to defend it this season, of course, being in a different category. But we'll have to see if I can find what actually happened to Kyle. Oh, I found it now, just as I was about to give up on it. But here we go. Keep an eye on the orange and blue car in the middle there, the Porsche. So what happens here? Goes into the left-hander. Oh, the rear end just gives way on Kyle there on cold tyres, and that's just by the pit entry. So it's handy that he's able to get the car straight into the pits from there. But it is not helpful in the sense that he's got a hugely damaged car there. Now, we're not able to get back to the live pictures here, so we'll have to do the old-fashioned way there. And there we go. We have to be careful with our replays here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a little bit of an issue with the time screen in that it doesn't want to catch up with the live time, which is a bit annoying, but we'll pursue how we can. Okay, so back to the gold category drivers. It is a brilliant, brilliant start to this race for Stefan Wessels. 8/10 clear, and actually in second place in the Acura car there, Lucas Seedorf has broken away a little bit from defending champion Ben McCluskey. Now, if I know Ben McCluskey, and I kind of know him, he's very, very patient. He did not rush at all last season to get through the packs, to get to the top. He just took his time through each race and just collected the points and the overtakes where he could. He was a master at doing that last season, so we'll see how he gets on this season in respect to that. Otherwise, in silver category here, Kruger still leads, and he's got a lot of cars between him and Matthew Cheverton. And remember that the drivers in these categories are scored based on their category positions, not their overall positions. So first and second will stay the same between Kruger and Cheverton until them two swap positions. However many cars in other categories between them is somewhat irrelevant in regards to points. Wilson Weir likewise has a lot of cars between him and Danny Switzer, who's in second place in category, and quite a long way back is Stein Vatens in third place. Time-wise, there's quite a big gap, 10 seconds between Vatens and Wilson Weir at the top. And as we start a new lap, end of the third lap, the fastest laps really are creeping in now, as Lucas Seedorf had the fastest lap of the race on that previous lap, so gaining a little bit on Stefan Wessels, albeit by 15 hundredths of a second on that last lap, but certainly looks to be in a better position time-wise in relative to Wessels up the front there. Let's see if they can get close and have a battle in this race. And we've got Berry Racing, that's John Berry, had no sound at the start of the race. That's such a shame. It's still in the pits, so that's game over for John Berry. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully sorted for the next race, but that is such a shame. Back out on track, though, is Carl Oosthuizen. They do have fast repairs, these drivers do. They have one available in this sprint race, so that would be the last that Carl can use in this race. In the feature race they get 2, and in the endurance races they get 3. Lots of cars building through that very slow right-hand hairpin there. We watch Mike Barber and Jamie Dury here going through the complex here. The two Quatermass cars very close together, and Quatermass have got more drivers in the gold category this season. And Jack Pittas moves over to the side. I think that's a slow down penalty. As I was saying earlier about the temptation of going over those white lines and over the curbs on this track is very, very tempting, and might have been what happened to Pittas there. And that means he loses a few positions to Mike Barber, his teammate, and Jamie Dury. He's still within touch of those drivers, but it's just a few places lost. Crucial in this series. Oh, and we got Alan McCain. That is Alan McCain, a lap down there to the side, just getting out of the way. And Alan McCain, I've given him the title of the most unlucky driver in Next Gen Racing, and it's continued again today. I'm just waiting for the day he gets his first win. I know it's coming. I want it to come for Alan McCain. Yeah. Let's see if this season it will happen for him, but not a great start, unfortunately, for him. In the bronze category, we have got a battle between Stephen de Grevelier and Michael Evangeli here. Stephen gets in front of Michael, heading into the left-hander here. This is how he did it. Into this tight complex here. It looked like a pretty good exit from Stephen de Grevelier out the 90-degree corner. Looked like yeah, there we go. So a bit too deep of an entry into the corner for Evangeli there. I forgot about our replay situation there. Let's catch up. But yeah, brilliant move there from Stephen de Grevella, utilising the exit of the corner to get back past Evangeli. Okay, Wilson Weir here. First place in category, still 13th. He's really, really doing well here. Keeping up with the gold drivers, staying ahead of the majority of the silver drivers, as well as all the drivers in his own category. Brilliant start to this season for him, who was a championship contender last season, let's not forget. And it did not work for Adam last season, but I reckon this season he might be back with not necessarily a chip on his shoulder, but with an eye for getting that championship in bronze. Let's monitor the top of the field again. Ben McCluskey has lost touch a little bit from Lucas and Stefan in the gold category. Still 8/10 between Wessels and Seedorf. It's very, very close between them. And Stefan Wessels, we've seen him win many, many races in this series over the years. Over the season, should we say. Actually, technically, you could say it's over the years now with the time I've been commentating it now. But there we go. It's a good start to the season for not only CSA, but Stefan Wessels. Out of the final corner. Nearing the halfway point in this race. And it's important to note there's no pit stops in this sprint race, at least no scheduled pit stops, but in the next race there will be pit stops, so that means tyres to consider, what you do in the pit stops, and of course fuel. And the main things to consider in the feature race coming up. Just past 9 o'clock should be the feature race, and of course reverse grids as well within categories. Makes it all the more interesting. Danny Switzer following Andy Fox here, fighting for 20th position. Now the closest battle on the track. It's a fairly close-ish battle between Jamie Dory and Mike Barber. Jamie Dory is surrounded by quite a mass drivers here. Of course, we just saw a few laps ago Jamie Dory getting past Jack Pittis due to Pittis' slow down penalty, and a good exit there from Pittis. He's going to have the inside heading into this back straight complex here. You can see there lots of right-handers, but he wasn't able to keep it to the inside. The BMW just had enough gas to stay in front. Very fast right-hand braking there for the drivers. They head into this tight right-hander.
Drive-through penalty, car 18, track limits.
Third penalty there. Car number 18, track limits. Just trying to find out. Car number 18 is Rob Savage. So the race director's getting on the phone to him and saying you need to watch yourself there. Going over the track limits, of course, you do get penalised for it in iRacing in the form of 1X's, which is an instant point, but also slow down penalties. But we also have a live steward in this season to monitor the drivers. And like I said earlier, it means they get away with far less. Gotta be careful of what you're getting up to out on the track indefinitely this season. Okay, so going back to the silver category, it's still close-ish between Cheverton and Matthew Addy, and we do have an instant further up. Gardner's had a spin just ahead of us there, and this is the replay, although I might regret that decision to have a replay. But here we go, heading into the tight right-hander. It might be that it's lost it itself. No, a little tap of the rear there, and that sends him round. Such a shame. It's just one of those where the car gets a little bit of front load, and then it gives way. It can happen in iRacing, particularly with low downforce setups like what the drivers have on their car right now. And of course, it's a fixed setup series, as we mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, which means that all drivers have the car out of the box. They're not allowed to change anything on the cars other than brake bias. And we've got a good battle coming up here. That's Adam Wilson-Weir battling with Jack Pittas. Mission Aaron Quatermass side by side. And it's a driver who used to drive for Quatermass, and it's still side by side between them as they head into turn number 4. Brilliant battling between the two, but I feel like Jack is going to have the better line as we head out onto the main straight. Still side by side, actually. I was wrong, but now it's going to go in back into single file. But Wilson has had a bad exit from that corner. Jesse Payne-Wilkins is going to be to the inside as we head up to the left-hander. A little bit of door-to-door contact between the two of them, and Adam has to concede, and gaining a position is Jesse Payne-Wilkins, third place finisher in Season 5. Flash of the lights there from Adam there to say, I wasn't happy with what you did there. Either that or he's trying to put him off, but it's a big gaggle of cars here now as that battle has bunched up the field a little bit. Cheverton is right behind them. Gavin Gardner, who spun just a lap ago, is right on their tail, and is Matthew Addy. Trying to capitalise on Cheverton just up ahead there. A brilliant battling from those drivers. A little bit of contact to go with it as well. A nice dive to the inside there from Gavin Gardner on Matthew Cheverton. And through he goes. Cheverton's not going to give up though, but he can't get it back to the inside for the penultimate corner of this lap. Brilliant move there from Gardner to get himself back into 14th overall. And now it's a straight-up fight for second place in category between Matthew Addy and Cheverton. Of course, Addy trying to get that place back in category. Let's see how that gets on the remainder of the race. We're heading into the final quarter of this race. And at the top, it's still hovering between 7 tenths and an 8 tenth gap between Wessels and Seedor. And as I say that, it goes down to 6. But yeah, it's very close between them two. Times identical to one another. They're within 400ths on their best laps, and within 300ths on their last lap. So incredibly tight quarters between them two. Okay, we're now looking at a battle for 7th position. Oh, that was Lewis Mason and Paul Williams. Very close heading into the left. Sorry, that was Lewis Mason on Aaron Hobson. Lewis Mason getting very close to the rear of Hobson. We do have an instant further back. Oh, and that's a damaged car as well. That's Evangeli. I would go to a replay, but I'm going to reserve that for now. We'll go to replays at the end of the race because we will be able to. And Andy Chell has had an instant now. No, he hasn't. He's coming out of the pits. Now, my timing screen told me he crashed just then. So, and I get a little bit, I get a little bit gutted when Andy Chell comes up red on my timing screen because he's always willing to have an interview with us after the races. Lovely to chat to. So, got a bit of a soft spot for Andy Chell. Yes, I will say that as a commentator. I don't care. I don't have my favourites, but I do have the guys I like to talk to and I like to keep an eye on. But, right, let's see what else is going on track. We did see a spin from Stephen de Gravelli in qualifying. He's recovering it quite well. He's not too far behind.
Car 21 and 98 track limits.
21 and 98 warnings for off tracks, and like I said, it's very tempting to do so. But like I was saying about the bronze category here, Elwyn Sykes, defending champion of bronze category in 4th, and he's got Stephen de Gravelli just behind. Now Stephen at times last season was very close to winning race potential. No wins last season. Definitely could say he had a better season 5 than he did season 6. But we'll see how he gets on this season. At the moment, the defending champion is having rough work of it. Steinvaten's ahead of him, as well as Danny Switzer and Adam Wilson-Weir, 2 of which were battling for the championship last season. So could we see similar this season? We could. Could be yet another brilliant showdown in any of these categories. If this gold category is anything to go by, now it's got to be said, Seedor, and you can see it on the timing screen anyway, but he is closer to Wessels this time around, and he's got it down below 0.6 of a second. So this part of the race, Seedorf has really put the hammer down and is closing in on the CSA driver of Stefan Wessels. So we'll see if there is a little bit of a showdown towards the end of the race here. Now, it's early doors here in this season, so will they go hammer and tongs in the battle? We'll have to see. Nigel Stock enters the pit lane. I think that was to serve a penalty for track limits. So here we go. Battle potentially in the final lap. It will be coming up here for Stefan Wessels and Lucas Seedorf. It's a 90-second lap, less than 90 seconds remaining, which means we will see the white flag this time around. And just monitoring the biggest movers overall of the field, the biggest mover is Stephen de Gravelia, gaining 17 places from start position and 10 places in category. So an incredible race for Stephen de Gravelia early on here in the season and the night. Here we go, white flag away for Stefan Wessels as he starts his final lap. He's just got to hang on here, got to keep hitting his marks, and he should win this race. A 1/10.5 slower that time around than Lucas Seedorf, and Ben McCluskey lapping around about the same, just 2.7 down, and actually has been gaining a little bit in the last few laps. Wide there, off the curb, heading out of turn number 6 there. Into turn number 8, long left-hander. It is very close between Seedorf and Wessels there. Of course, the time does concertina a little bit under the braking zones. However, 0.5 of a second between them as we head to this final part of the circuit, and realistically only one real overtaking zone left. Seedorf's not going to be close enough. Wessels, pending any drama that happens here, is going to win the opening race of the season here for Season 7 at NXTGEN Racing GT3. Final 2 corners. And the checkered flag will greet our opening winner of the season in the 27 car for CSA, driving the Porsche. Stefan Wessels takes the win in this opening round of the season. Lucas Seedorf in second place, and defending champion Ben McCluskey will come through a solid 3rd position. Silver category winner will come through next, and a strong 8th place overall. Jeffrey Kruger wins the opening race of the season for silver category. And for bronze category, Adam Wilson-Weir comes through, finishes where he started, 13th overall, and the same in bronze category 2, 1st. Matthew Cheverton beats Matthew Addy to 2nd place in silvers, Addy rounding off that podium, and Danny Switzer will come through 2nd place in bronze category. Oh, and a spin for 3rd place, Stein Vatens. Is he able to get it going before Elwyn Sykes passes him? No, Sykes will pass him, and Sykes will take 3rd place rather inherently in the bronze category there. And we'll get a replay of what happened to Stein Vatens at the end there, but the final corner chucks it around off the track and loses a place to the defending champion. Well, a very, very, very interesting race to start us off there. Not the main source of the drama came from lap 1 there, with a couple of spins here and there throughout the race, but generally people getting a bit warmed up here. But we've got a reverse grid coming up very shortly, and that's reverse grid within the categories. And of course, we're going to see for the first time this season the categories starting on their own from one another. But that's our opening race of the night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be having another race very, very shortly. In about 20 minutes time, we'll see the feature race. And it is a 1-hour race, and we will see pit stops. So, let's get to the results of this opening race of the night. And we will start with the gold category. Stefan Wessels takes the win in this opening race of the night by half a second from Lucas Seedorf on his debut for Mission R second place for him. 3.5 seconds down from the leader, Ben McCluskey, the defending champion, is third position, with Harry Langford in fourth position, the highest of the Quatermass cars. Ben Altria of Full Tilt is in fifth position, from Gaz Williams in sixth, Corey Price in seventh position, with Mike Barber in eighth, Jamie Dorian ninth, and rounding off the top 10, Jack Pittas. Jesse Payne-Wilkins in 11th from Gavin Gardner, and Ben Bennyworth in 13th. Martin Hobson, Andy Fox will round off the finishers, and a lap down was Carlos Sason, but still finished the race. Silver category next, and it is a win early on for Jeffrey Kruger. Bronze category champion, remember, from Season 5, and starts this season very well with a win. Matthew Cheverton, a battle between him and Matthew Addy throughout much of the race, and it is very close across the line between them two, but Cheverton takes the second spot from Addy. Chris Mason in fourth position from Jochen Seeger in fifth, and Paul Williams in sixth, and Mark Baker in seventh. That's the Akiri Cole Droisseur drivers 5, 6 and 7 together. Phil McDougall in 8th position from Aaron Hobson, and rounding off the top 10 in silvers is George Stone. Yoppie Siemens in 11th, followed by Nigel Stock, who had a late race penalty, and Lewis Mason in 13th from Jason Raff, and Alan McCain a lap down for him due to an incident. Bronze category now, and it's a win for Adam Wilson-Weir, starting off the season very strong with a 17-second gap to his nearest bronze rival, Danny Switzer. Elwyn Sykes, defending champion, 30 seconds down from the leader, third place for him. Sammy Ariba, fourth position from Stephen de Gravelia in fifth. Gabriel Papaconstantino in sixth place from Gabriel Yilmaz. Simon Hunt in eighth. Ninth is Charlie Upson Wood, and although he crossed the line fourth on track, it is a 10th position for Stein Vatens, and I will presume that will be due to not serving a slowdown penalty. So more drama for Stein there, as he was, well, metres from third place, but has come undone, and 10th for him. Rob Savage in 11th, followed by Wesley Lewin in 12th, Mark Sykes in 13th, Michael Evangeli, a couple of spins for him in this race, 14th, with Andy Chell in 15th, John Berry 16th, Andy Rooney 17th, and Davide Favo in 18th. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that is the opening race of the night here at Misano World Circuit. We have got a short break coming up now. And when we come back after the break, it will be the feature race. The feature race grid is based on the results of that race we've just seen, but each category's grid will be reversed, and they'll be starting in groups. Gold will start first, silver will start second, and bronze will start third. And we'll have pit stops to keep an eye on in the next race as well. So grab a cuppa, grab a beer, anything like that. And we'll see you very, very shortly for our second race of the night.
Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Welcome back everyone to the Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli for round 1 of the NXTGEN Racing GT3 League Season 7. We've got a feature race coming up for you very, very shortly. It will be a 1 hour feature race, and as you can see, we've got different weather. Not exactly wet, but a lot of precipitation in the air and making it very, very foggy for the drivers, which is going to affect vision, and it's going to put the drivers under a little bit more tension for this feature race coming up. So very much looking forward to it. But before we get going, ladies and gentlemen, how about some housekeeping, as we all love it. This is the NXTGEN Racing GT3 Season 7, partnered, sponsored and affiliated with PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC Builds and Support, and Doble Motorcycles. I'm Alex Everett, your commentator for the series for all 10 rounds this season. These are the tracks we're visiting this season. Misano is the first track on our list there, and that's where we are tonight. Next week, we're heading across the Atlantic to New York State, and it will be the Watkins Glen circuit for round 2 of the championship. Round 3 will be the first of 3 endurance rounds of the championship at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, of course hosted in the Formula 1. It is the Montreal-based circuit in Canada. Round 4 of the championship will be hosted at Donington Park in Leicestershire for round 4 of the championship, and then we'll be heading over the English Channel to Zandvoort for round 5 to see us out the first half of the season. We're heading down under for round 6, the second of 3 endurance rounds of the championship at the Bathurst Mount Panorama circuit. Back to Europe for round 7 of the championship and the Algarve International Circuit, aka Portimao. Round 8 will be hosted at Silverstone GP in Northamptonshire, and round 9, the Canadian Tire Motorsport circuit. The penultimate round of the season and the last of our sprint and feature race formats. And the final round of the championship, where else is it going to end? All roads lead to Le Mans, don't they? Well, they should if they don't. It is Le Mans hosting the final round of the season. Not a 24-hour endurance, but a 2-hour endurance to end the season. So an interesting first race of the season. Stefan Messel's taking the gold honours. And in the silver category was Jeffrey Kruger, and in the bronze category Adam Wilson-Weir. And I've been keeping an eye on the Discord as well, and a lot of people jumping to the congratulations of Adam Wilson-Weir, because for him in the bronze category, a truly dominant performance. We'll see what happens in this race. Of course, reverse grid races are these feature races, so each category will be grouped together, and the results of the sprint race will be reversed. So Adam Wilson-Weir will start at the back of the bronze category, which is basically the back of the grid for this next race. So he's got all the work to do to get through the field, to get back to the front if he wants to replicate that race 1. And of course, the old saying is, catching one thing, passing is another. But of course, getting through the pack is a fine art in itself. Some of the more notable performances of doing so, Ayrton Senna from Donington Park, a track we're visiting this season, from 1993. Similar weather to what we got here, minus the wet ground. Must be the water. Oh, I said it. Okay, so enough about the ironic jokes there. We're heading straight into the race very, very shortly. Drivers still entering the server here. Well, actually, the majority of them are in the server right now. But we are going to witness the all-new starting procedure for this championship in the feature races and, of course, the endurance races. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens here. And, of course, over the comms, you can hear in that sprint race, and you're here for this feature race, will be our race director, Martin. A lot of drivers here finishing off their laps, getting good laps in to finish off the session there. So here we go. We are about to get into the feature race for this round one here at Misano. Starting at the front of the grid will be Kyle Oosthuizen, following the disappointing opening round of this season. He'll be definitely wanting to get a victory in this race here to redeem his championship hopes. Andy Fox in second position with Martin Hobson in third, Ben Bennyworth in fourth, followed by Gavin Gardner in fifth. Sixth place is Jesse Payne-Wilkins with Jack Pittas in seventh and Jamie Dory alongside in eighth. Mike Barber ninth with Corey Price rounding off the top 10. Ben Altria will start in 11th with Harry Langford in 12th. 13th, Ben McCluskey with Lucas Cedar in 14th, Stefan Wessels 15th, and starting at the back of the gold category will be Jake Pitt, as he was unable to take the start of the sprint race due to a Windows update. Starting at the front of the silvers will be Alan McCain with Jason Raff alongside him, Lewis Mason in 19th with Nigel Stock in 20th. Joppy Siemens and George Stone will line up on the third row of the silver category, with Aaron Hobson and Phil McDougall on that fourth row. Mark Baker and Paul Williams next, with Jochen Seeger and Chris Mason. And the top three were Matthew Addy, Matthew Cheverton and Jeffrey Kruger, who will start at the back of the silver category. Andy Chell will start on pole position for the bronze category, with Michael Evangeli next and Mark Sykes in 34th. Starting fourth at the bronze category will be Wesley Lewin and Robert Savage. 37th, 38th will be Stein Vatens and Charlie Yopson Wood. Simon Hunt 39th and Gabriel Yilmaz in 40th. Gabriel Papaconstantino in 41st and Stephen de Gravelia in 42nd. Sammy Ariba in 43rd and Elwyn Sykes in 44th. Adam Wilson-Weir and John Berry in 45th and 46th. Andy Rooney and Davide Favo will be 47th and 48th. And that is our grid for this feature race. We'll be getting away very, very shortly. We are waiting for more drivers to grid up, and then we will get going for this next race. So here we go, drivers will get going in just a moment now. We've got 16 gold category drivers, 15 silver category and 17 bronze category drivers. And of course they'll follow the pace car around. There's a bit of water underneath. You can see the spray coming off the cars there. So that's going to make things all the more tricky. Now it does say dry, but you can see the spray coming off the cars. So that's going to be tricky for these drivers. But back to the start procedure. The gold category drivers will go upon signal, but then the silver category and the bronze category drivers will have to wait. As you can see here. Now, head towards the line. Final corner. Gold category drivers must maintain pace and then will be told to go when the steward is happy to do so, and away go the gold category drivers heading into turn number one. big dive to the inside from Martin Hobson there. But let's switch over to the silver category drivers as they're about to get away very, very shortly. And there is a crash in the gold category. We'll come to it very, very shortly. But away goes Alan McCain, taking the lead early on here in the silver category. Jason Raff going very, very wide there, heading out of turn number 1. And it might be the grip on these cars, but it's very tentative through turn number 1 there. Away goes Andy Chell into turn number 1. A good start for him from Mark Sykes and Evangeli. Now Langford's a long way down. He did have an instant there, but leading the way in the gold category, if you can see through the mist, is Carl Oosthuizen there. Brilliant start for the South African driver. In the silver category, Alan McCain just holding off from some of the silver drivers here. To the inside goes Jason Raff and Lewis Mason taking the lead from Alan McCain there. Brilliant move to the inside of turn number 7. Guard the inside for the next corner here. Mason wants to keep that lead on his debut for the Aztec team. Nigel Stock in third place as well. A good start for him. Andy Chell's got a bit of a healthy lead there in the Quatermass car. Andy Chell has not won a race in the bronze category yet in 2 seasons, and this will be his 3rd of trying. Will it be today? So far, so good. Out of the final corner, Carlos Stason leads from Andy Fox. Martin Hobson in 3rd position. Gavin Gardner 4th position, right behind Hobson. And looking to the inside, heading into turn number 1, Corey Price on Jesse Payne-Wilkins. Not a move that materialised, but he's very, very close to the rear there. Stefan Wessels with a good start, up a fair few positions from the start there. He's in fact ahead of his rivals from race number 1, Ben McCluskey and Lucas Seedor. Ben McCluskey having a good start, a better start somewhat than Lucas Seedor, who is still where he started, whereas McCluskey's gained 1 and Wessels has gained 4. Brilliant start for the gold driver, winning the sprint race. Whereas in the silver category, Jeffrey Kruger 28th here and 12th in category. We did have a few drivers dropping places there. We've also got Ben Altria making a move on Corey Price there. Good move from Ben Altria in the full tilt car to take 8th position. Coasting there is Joppie Siemens there, letting by Jochen Siegert. Now Stein Vatens, I must correct myself, we weren't able to see the replay, but he said in the Discord there was contact and it caused him to spin at the end of that race. Now it's something for the stewards to look at after the race in the post-race stewards review, but Stein Vatens lost positions as a result of that contact. So we'll see what happens in the post-race, but he'll feel a bit aggrieved there, and he'll definitely want to slam down a win in this bronze category feature race here. He's gained on Andy Chell a little bit in this lap, as we see a move from Wesley Lewin on Mark Sykes there. Brilliant, daring move to the inside at turn number 14. Brilliant from Wesley Lewin, charging towards the top 3 here. Corey Price has had an instant, facing the wrong way here at turn number 4. I'm going to try a replay here in the hope that we'll be able to go back to the live pictures. But this is him looking to the back of Ben Altria, I do believe. Oh no, it was Ben Altria on the inside and there was contact and it sent round Corey Price. And nope, we are not able to go back to the live pictures. Now we are. Okay, so let's get back to the live action. Jake Pitas chasing down Ben McCluskey, surrounded by some very quick company. There is Jack, but still leading at the front is Carl Oosthuizen from Andy Fox. Has actually broken away a little bit, 2.25 seconds clear. Brilliant, brilliant opening stint of the race for Carl Oosthuizen. Pit stops yet to come in, of course. As we look back to the bronze category, near contact between John Berry and Stein Vatens, and of course John Berry had to retire from the previous race. He's already up to 5th in category. A brilliant start to this race for the Mission R Esports driver, getting past Stein Vatens just then, and Vatens has dropped a few places in the last lap. So let's just take another look at what's happened there. This is to the inside. I think that might be Andy Chell, you know. Heading out of the corner. Oh, is there contact between the two? Yes, there is. Both going for the same bit of tarmac, and it doesn't quite work. Vatens goes round, and that has dropped him down a lot of places. So we'll see how much he can recover as the race goes by. Another one for the stewards. He's going to be a popular one in the books, is Stein Vatens. Potentially on the receiving end of them, but let's not speculate on that. Okay, so other drivers moving around. We've got Stefan Wessels there to the inside of Mike Barber. Oh, and there's contact further back. That's McCluskey who had contact with Ben Alcher. Let's take a replay of that, because that was a big incident for Ben McCluskey. Now running slow here is Ben Alcher, and to the inside goes Ben McCluskey. Oh, front wheel alongside rear wheel. It's hard to say who's at fault there. But Ben Alcher sent round, spins it onto the grass, and has to get going again from there. But Ben McCluskey, might he have damage on his car? It was only a small impact, but iRacing can be very, very sensitive to damage. So we'll see what happens to him there. He has got two fast repairs at his disposal. But last season, we rarely saw Ben McCluskey involved in any incident. First race of the season, or second race of the season, there is an incident involving him. It's a very strange turn of the books there. So, on to Carl Oosthuizen, a 3-point-second lead. Brilliant, brilliant racing so far from him. Leading away from Andy Fox, who, to be fair, is doing well himself. Got a more than 1 second gap to Martin Hobson. Meanwhile, in the silver category, Lewis Mason ahead of Alan McCain here. Now, these three drivers didn't do so well in the sprint race, so they're definitely looking for some redemption here. Nigel Stock and Jason Raff in a battle here. Jason Raff, we saw just a moment ago, getting past Alan McCain a few laps ago. McCain's back into second place, but it's Mason now at the front. Nigel Stock looking to get involved as well. That's Gardner to the inside of Hobson, and Hobson had to his inside. Jesse Payne-Wilkins, and round goes Hobson. Everyone nowhere to go, and there's a couple of drivers that went into Hobson there on recovery. I think Wessels might have made contact with the stricken car there. To the inside goes Gardner, and then to the inside goes Jesse Payne-Wilkins. And it was a rather late move, but then Jamie Dory had nowhere to go, and they all bunches up, including Wessels hitting Hobson there, who had, well, he couldn't recover his car that quickly either. And it's been very, very tricky so far for a lot of these drivers. It's split up a little bit amongst this 3 to top 6 battle, and actually benefiting from it was Ben McCluskey. Now, where has Wessels gone? Wessels in the pits, there we go. So he's made a quick decision to go into the pits to take a fast repair because his bumper did come off. So the race 1 winner in the pits. And I think that might have been just a fast repair he was taking there. But that does benefit Ben McCluskey as he's ahead of Lucas Seedor, and now Wessels is somewhat out of the way and probably hasn't taken a fuel stop yet. Or has he? You know, I've been wrong about these things in the past. We'll have to monitor that. But McCluskey now in 6th place, and this was what he was good at last season. And I mentioned in the first race, he was patient. He was able to get through the pack slowly but surely. And this is what he's doing right here. He's avoiding the majority of the incidents. In 6th place right now, hunting down Jamie Dory, indirect teammate, both NXTGEN Racing drivers. But Jamie Dory, I've raced with Jamie Dory many times over the years, and he loves a battle. Loves a battle, and that's what we've been wanting here with McCluskey. Or will he play the team game? Well, we'll have to see. Let's go let's pick on the bronze category. John Berry's in the lead here. Now, Andy Chell has lost it somehow, whilst we were looking at other shenanigans going on. And this is the pass for the race lead. And here's Andy Chell going around that final corner. It gets a bit squirrely on the exit there. Yes, I think losing a little bit of traction there on the exit, he did end up conceding the position to John Berry. So Berry now leads the race, and Berry retired from race 1, remember? So this is a brilliant start to this race. 15 places gained overall in the standings. And Adam Wilson-Weir, who is our race 1 winner, and as I mentioned, can he get to the front of the bronze grid? Well, 3rd place at the moment. Fantastic start to this race. He's got Sykes right behind him, and Evangeli on his debut right behind as well. Battle here between Matthew Addy and Chris Mason, and also George Stone nipping to the inside there. Contact between the two. Round goes the Sam Casey's car there. Addy is off the track. And let's just take another shot of that to see what happened from above. So we're looking at Matthew Addy, who's on the outside there, and it was Stone, I believe, on his inside. Oh, it's hard to tell what happened. Did one turn into the other, or did one leave his car in a closing gap? But Matthew Addy stricken down in 14th position now. A lot of incidents in this race, far more than what they've been in the sprint race earlier on today. It's all in the middle of the pack as well. The drivers trying to make up places, make up lost ground. And speaking of making up ground, past Mike Barber goes Lucas Seedor. He's got a prime opportunity here to challenge Ben McCluskey, and knowing that Wessels might be down and out of race winning potential, Lucas Seedor can put the challenge down to Ben McCluskey to try and challenge for, well, maybe not a win, but maybe even a championship lead after tonight. Good start to this race for Oosthuizen. I know I keep saying, but near 5-second lead already. That's going to be hard to close down for any of the gold drivers now. McCluskey is not too far away from second position, who is just a few meters up the road from him. And McCluskey has to get past Jesse Payne-Wilkins, who we saw in Season 5. If you remember Season 5, P3 for him at the end of that season. So we know what he's capable of. Gavin Gardner started last season very, very well, but missed a couple of rounds in the middle part of the season, meant he was out of high championship position contention. But a good start to this race. 3rd place right now. Lewis Mason still leads silver category from Alan McCain. Going a bit wide there at the hairpin is Alan, taking the traditional wet weather line on slick tyres. And our weather says it is dry underfoot or under tyre. But we did see at the start of the race, so there's a bit of spray coming off of the tyres. So I do wonder if things are a little bit greasy out there in terms of grip. Oh, you can see going wide there actually was Lewis Mason, just running over the curves on the edge of the track. And it will give him instant points, and they are limited to the instant points they have in this series in each race. 20 is the limit here. Oh no, we got a car off on the inside there. That's Ben Altria. Right on the racing line. Drivers are going to have to swerve to avoid, and it means going off track to avoid it. And Ben Altria gets it into reverse, albeit into the wall, but gets it out of the way of the drivers. And I think Ben Altria did actually do the right thing there of leaving the car where it was. The drivers were sensible enough to find a way around. But if Ben Altria tried to get it in reverse and then reversed into another car, that would have been far worse. So he definitely did the right thing there. But it means he is well and truly out of contention for good positions here in the gold category. 29th overall and 15th in category. Good battle here for 10th place in class in the silver category. Guarding the inside there is Mark Baker. Looking to his inside was Chris Mason. Oh, a bit of a twitchy rear end there on the BMW. A five-way trail of cars here fighting for 10th position in category. Nigel Stock has dropped a few places here. He's down to 6th position. I've got nothing on my timing screen saying what's happened to him, as he is battling with Phil McDougall now in the CXR car behind. But at the front, Gavin Gardner is making a move on Andy Fox here. And we've also got Ben McCluskey lurking around as well. Side by side still between Gardner and Fox. And we've seen on this track in the sprint race, you can go side by side for quite a long sequence of corners. McCluskey now to the inside of Andy Fox to try and take the podium position from him. Down to 4th goes Fox, and he's going to be guarding from Jesse Payne Wilkins as well. But straight on it, Ben McCluskey trying to get alongside Gardner, but he was guarding the inside from his teammate. Both next-gen drivers, and into the left-hander of turn 6 they go. Jesse Payne Wilkins has got himself into 4th place past Andy Fox. A 7.4 second gap from 2nd place to Carlos Oosthuizen at the front. And if McCluskey can get to the front, or if he can follow Gardner, can they catch Oosthuizen? I'm not too sure, because Oosthuizen's no slouch. We've seen that all along here, and Gardner is really guarding it from Ben McCluskey here, not wanting to let him pass, wanting a good race and wanting to keep that 2nd position. Let's see if McCluskey goes for the inside. He does, to the inside. Brilliant move from McCluskey, and it's clean. Gardner gives him enough respected racing room, and he makes it through. McCluskey's into 2nd place, a place higher than where he finished in the sprint race. This is what McCluskey can do. But into the pits goes Jamie Dory. He's taking his stop now. That might well be a tactic, and will it be a good one? We'll have to find out later on. Alan McCain has spun on the inside of the hairpin there. Let's just get a quick replay to see what's happened to him. Can't quite tell who's that behind him. I think that's Cheverton behind him. He just lets go of him. Or he just about avoids the traffic as well. Back to the live pictures now. And Alan McCain trying to recover his race. It's not gone to plan for him, similar to the sprint race. And I wonder if he's got a little bit of damage on the car, because it was looking quite twitchy there, heading out of the corner there. So, Carlos Oosthuizen out on his own, a 7.7 lead. You'll see McCluskey is now the next car in line on his relative, or on the standings, and we'll see, have to see and monitor that time coming down between the two, if it comes down at all, that is. Silver champion, what a day it would be if he can secure his first gold win today, albeit due to a DNF and a reverse grid in the previous race. But still, you have to lead the race, and you have to guard that, and you have to keep it. That is a whole different scenario, and a much harder one at that. 3/10 quicker on that last lap was Ben McCluskey. Lucas Cedar is also making his way towards this top 3 here. He's 5th at the moment, and he has got Gavin Gardner within view and Jesse Payne Wilkins right in front of him. Trying to make his way past the back markers there is Gavin Gardner and co. But Gardner trying to latch onto the back of McCluskey to A, keep up with McCluskey, but B, get away from the likes of Payne Wilkins and Cedar. And Harry Langford, despite the bad start to this race, a little bit of a incident at the start of this race would set him back a little bit. he has really come back well, as there's a spin on the side there from the back marker of Davide Favo. He gets it back going again, and it is a trail of Quatermass cars here in unison. 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. Langford, Bennyworth, Barber and Pittas. And I hear there is a tribute to Eddie Jordan on their livery there. And Eddie Jordan, I was a massive fan of Jordan Grand Prix back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Yellow's my favourite colour as well, so naturally I was going to love their liveries. But yeah, Eddie Jordan will be sorely missed, he will. Still a good lead for Lewis Mason here. His debut for Aztec Racing today. He's also got a teammate in second place here in Matthew Cheverton. Trying to make his way past Martin Hobson, who's in gold category. Trying to make up places. Matthew Cheverton realistically needs to get past Hobson to then focus on Mason. Well, look who we got in the lead of the bronze category. We've been so focused on those battles in gold and silver. Adam Wilson-Weir has taken the lead here, and this could well be him on his way to a maximum point round in the opening round of the season. Brilliant performance from him. And also, Missionar doing well in Jonathan Berry in second place here, not too far behind Adam. Just behind, in fact. Andy Chell keeping within touch. But he's got Wesley Lewin and Mark Sykes not too far behind as well. Andy Chell, an ex-rally driver I also hear. And of course I host my fair share of rally leagues. Andy Chell drops to fourth position there. Wesley Lewin making his way past. And Mark Sykes will be next to challenge for that fourth place and try and keep hold of the battle for third place with Wesley Lewin. But it looks to be, in bronze category anyway, a very good debut for Missionar. A couple of drivers breaking off from Quatermass Motorsport and into Missionar. And they've got a strong contingent of drivers. Both teams still have a strong contingent of drivers, with 2 teams for Quatermass and 3 teams for Missionar. Our race 1 winner in silver category, Jeffrey Kruger, in 6th position in silver category, making up places, but a little bit similar to that of Ben McCluskey, slowly catching monkey. 6th place here, making up the positions. It could be possible that Jeffrey Kruger can catch up to the likes of Lewis Mason, who's only up the road here. So we'll have to see. Stefan Wessel still in this race. Do not forget about him. He's setting strong laps as well. He's in the 35s. 35s. So we'll have to see what happens to the latter part of the race. Whether he actually, you know, that pit stop favoured him or not. We'll have to find out. New fastest lap of the race for Lucas Seedor in 4th position now as well. So close to the 34s. Of course, we saw some 34s in the previous race and in qualifying, but I think things are a little bit more greasy now on the track, so times are a little bit slower. But catching up to this top 3, Seedor not only will have his sights set on Gavin Gardner, but Ben McCluskey in 2nd place up ahead. But Ben McCluskey is catching up with Carl Oosthuizen as well, with 35 minutes or just over 35 minutes left to go in this race. He'll definitely be working hard to try and catch up with Carl Oosthuizen, who equally will be working hard to hang on to it. And he's got a back marker in front of him in the form of a Mission R Mustang there. I think that's Carly Jobson Wood and Charlie Jobson Wood And he moves out of the way on the straight like you're meant to do so with the blue flags. That's through Carly Stayson leading this race. Lucas Seedorf getting close to Gavin Gardner. Oh, into the pits goes Lucas. So he's decided, you know what, I'm going to try and get the undercut here, pitting first to try and get the jump on the other drivers. So let's see how this favours Lucas Seedorf. Ben McCluskey will be fully aware of that, and might that trigger him to make a pit stop on this next lap? We'll have to see. Kyle with a less than 6-second lead now. A couple of drivers opting to pit now. Martin Hobson and Paul Williams is in the pits as well. Matthew Addy is in the pit, so a couple of drivers pulling that trigger now when it comes to the pit stops. Lucas Seedorf is making his way to the pit exit, but of course it's a very long period in the pit lane where you're on the limiter, and now he's off. The Acura gets away and onto the track on the exit of turn 3, entrance to, exit of turn 2, entrance to 3. And this will be a big outlap for Lucas Seedorf, because his intentions will be to get the undercut on the two drivers ahead of him, in particular Gavin Gardner, so that he can focus on Ben McCluskey. Matthew Cheverton in ahead of Lewis Mason, so there has been a position swap between them. See if we can catch that on replay. It might have been a while ago, actually. It's come up on our time screen, actually. But a change of the lead in silver category as we head towards the crucial pit stops. The Aztec drivers swap around. But into the pits goes Lewis Mason. He's decided he wants to pit now. Might have been in reaction to the overtake that happened between him and Cheverton. But let's also keep an eye on Jeffrey Kruger. He's going to be wanting that #1 spot again in this feature race. Adam Wilson-Weir could also get himself a maximum points result tonight. And there'll be a couple of drivers gunning for, well, it'll be him and it will be Jeffrey Kruger going for that. Wessels, it might well be out of the picture, though I can never speak too soon. I've been wrong about those things in the past. Lots of drivers in the pits. Jake Pitt, Lewis Mason, Alan McCain. Ben McCluskey did not react to Lucas Seedorf going into the pits, but now he does. 2 laps later, so we'll have to see where he is in relation to Lucas Seedorf. Onto the main straight goes Lucas Seedorf. Where is Ben McCluskey? He's on the exit there. Oh, it's going to be close. Through the chicane he goes. Here is Ben McCluskey out of the pits he goes. And look how close it is, but he gets out in front of Lucas Seedorf. But it's not over between them two. It's going to be a close battle between them. And also McCluskey has to warm up his tyres. So we don't know if Seedor has got the jump on Gardner, but presumably he has, as he's this close to McCluskey. We have got a lot of drivers in the pits. Drivers heading out the pits as well. Our previous race leaders, Matthew Cheverton and Lewis Mason, are out of the pits from their scheduled pit stop. Bronze category, only 2 drivers have not pitted, and that's Mark Sykes and Elwyn Sykes. But we need to monitor this fairly closely, as Lucas Seedor and Ben McCluskey might well be the battle to watch for this season, let alone this race. And very close to the rear there was Seedor on McCluskey. This has the makings of a very, very tense battle. You could say the battle for the championship lead. Gardner's in the pits. Oosthuizen's back out on the track. And it is closer between Oosthuizen and McCluskey as Gardner comes out behind Seedor. But look into the inside goes Seedor on McCluskey, very close between the two. And through goes Lucas Seedor with a brilliant, brilliant overtake. Probably caught McCluskey off guard a little bit there, just snatching it to the inside. And through he goes. But McCluskey's not going to give that up. Just up ahead, a back marker there as well. That's Gabriel Yilmaz, I think. Seedor will be trying to rocket away from McCluskey now. And actually they have lost a little bit of time, have these drivers, to Carl Oosthuizen, but a very good undercut there from Ben McCluskey. And that's going to give him a good run to the inside on this back straight here. Held up a little bit was Seedor there. And we'll have the inside going into the slowest corner on the track. Seedor very late on the brakes to get it round the outside, but he can't get it in front just yet. McCluskey still to the inside. It's very close between the two. May have even been contact there, but to the inside for the next corner is Seedor, and he'll have the better line for these next 2 corners. McCluskey will have to try again at another corner. He takes the undercut here, powers it out of the exit, gets it to the left side of Seedor, but it is the outside of the next corner, but then the inside for turn number 2. Can he be later on the brakes? No, he can't. Seedor's back in front. Brilliant battle between these two for a lap long this has now been. Now, can McCluskey repeat the move? That'll be what McCluskey's looking to here.
Car 7, 9 and 05, track limits.
Track limits penalty there for cars 7, 9 and 05. Means they'll have to go through the pits to serve them. That's Wesley Lewin. And Andy Chell in the bronze category, both 4th and 5th. So they'll lose a lot more positions. Let's keep an eye on other categories as well. Jeffrey Kruger is into 3rd place in category, has just passed Phil McDougall for that position. Into the top 3 goes Kruger, our race 1 winner from silver category. Matthew Cheverton's breaking away from his teammate Lewis Mason. And Kruger is gaining on Mason equally there. John Barry still leads in the bronze category here. Adam Wilson-Wee has dropped down a fair bit of time. So something may have happened to him in this race amongst the pit stops. But he will gain positions on Andy Chell and Wesley Lewin ahead. Still close between Seedor and McCluskey. Now, we saw in race 1, Seedor, following Stefan Wessels, was able to break away from Ben McCluskey. Can the same happen here? McCluskey must be wringing the guts out of that Mustang to try and keep up with the Acura of Cedar. But we'll be looking for all ways to try and get past here. All ways to catch up with the Polish driver for Mission R. But also, with all this battling, it is allowing Oosthuizen to break away. It's now over 7 seconds again. It was below 6 seconds only a couple of laps ago, so this is giving Oosthuizen more time, allowing him to hang on to this first spot all the more. And if he continues this, it will be a CSA Team Woza first and first. Both races. Wessel's in the sprint race, of course, and Oosthuizen potentially in this feature race. Flash the lights there to let the back marker know I'm coming through, and I think that's Sammy Ariba. He's passing by. Jeffrey Kruger is within a straight of Cheverton, and is really not too far behind Lewis Mason either. Kruger has got to get himself past Martin Hobson though. Can he do it on this section of track? He was definitely looking, but will he do it into the slower hairpin corner here? He'll try and set it up here. He will. He'll get to the inside, and it's quite a good move. Keeps it nice and tight to the apex, but will he hang on for the next corner? He will. Into 17th overall, and now has his sights set on second place. Lewis Mason just up the road here in the Aztec Racing Acura car. Brilliant driving from Kruger tonight, it's got to be said. Adam Wilson-Weir might be fully aware that Andy Chell is on a notice to serve a drive-through penalty. And there goes Andy Chell to serve it. Oh, and actually, whoa, it was very close there on entrance between Wesley Lewin and Andy Chell. And I think Wesley Lewin might have gone over the white line and a bit of a flash of lights there from Andy Chell, probably to say that was close, mate. But both of them will be serving their drive-through penalties now. That allows Wilson Weir into 4th position. And he can set his sights on 3rd position, Simon Hunt here, who we haven't mentioned much tonight. Likewise with Rob Savage. Rob Savage, another driver moving from Quatermass over to Mission R. Now the gap between Cedar and McCluskey is opening up a little bit. It's just creeping over half a second between the two. McCluskey's not going to give it up just yet. Just over 20 minutes to go in this race. Now Stefan Wessels is down in 13th here, and presumably that would be due to him pitting for fuel just a moment ago as well. And that really has put his night out of whack, what happened earlier on. But if he can compete in most rounds this season, definitely a championship contender. Was brilliant in race 1. But in this race, he'll probably have to concede some points to whom are looking like his championship rivals, Lucas Cedar and Ben McCluskey. And something that's worth mentioning, now we mentioned earlier on, either early on or last week, that Ben McCluskey has made the switch from the Ferrari to the Mustang, and a lot of drivers this season have switched cars, which is, I'm finding a little bit tricky to get used to. But yeah, and it just it happens season upon season on iRacing. iRacing has 13 seasons in intervals, and the cars are constantly swapping around in terms of which are the better cars to drive. And presumably, because there's so many Mustangs in the field, and actually I'd say more than half the field are Porsche cars, it just goes to show that those cars are the more favoured at the moment. It could be due to grip as well as pure outright speed, but it always changes in this GT3 category. You could say last season the Ferrari was the best car, as that was the most popular, but only 2 are driving it at the moment, and that's Nigel Stock and Davide Fava. So it's real interesting what happens season upon season on iRacing, and of course these seasons on Next Gen Racing are normally separated by the iRacing seasons, and sometimes the changeovers happen midway through our season. Okay, so a little bit of a rundown of our top three in each category as we head into the final third of this race. Carly Stayson leading by 6.3 seconds in the gold category from Lucas Seedor and Ben McCluskey. That was our top three in the gold category. Silver category, Matthew Cheverton with now a strong 7-second lead, and it very much looks in his hands right now. Second place, Lewis Mason, who will have a bit of a dogfight now with Jeffrey Kruger, who's already looking to the inside, heading into the fastest point on the track and some of the slowest corners eventually on the track. He's already passed and he's already through before the braking zone. Kruger into second place, and it's going to be a tall order to catch up with first place and get it into maximum points winning potential in silver category. But Kruger in second place here. A strong night for him. Bronze category, Jonathan Berry, who we can't see on the track for some reason or another. I think something's happened to John Berry. He was in first place and he's disappeared. I've got a feeling John Berry's had a disconnection here. Yeah, it says he's out. I think that's a disconnection for John Berry, which would just tail off a terrible night for him. He had sound issues in race 1, and it certainly is looking like a disconnection here in race 2. Unbelievable luck on the first round of the season as well. It does promote Rob Savage to the lead of this race. Now, Rob Savage, I don't think won any rounds last season. Just going to double check that. I've got a bit of a stat sheet on the side here. No wins last season. And actually, neither had John Berry, which is quite painful. But Rob Savage, you know, if he can hang on from Adam Wilson-Weir, who's not too far behind, if Rob Savage can hang on, it'll be a debut win in Next Gen for him. But Adam Wilson-Weir will be keen to get a maximum points haul out of tonight. He's got quite a bit of time to do that. He's got 17 minutes to claw back 3.6 seconds from a teammate. And third place. Oh, John Berry's back. Oh, it's very, very in and out his internet, and he is touring now as well. Rob Savage passes by, but he's having big issues there. And that that might well be the end of his night. Still close between McCluskey and Seedor. Still held up by a back marker here. It's the inside he goes. Oh, he was close on the exit there for Seedor. And McCluskey's trying to capitalise on Seedor being held up by some back markers. Into turn number 2. It's still so close between these two, and I don't think it's over by any stretch. McCluskey, if he can get close, can mount a move on Seedor. Down below 7 seconds between Cheverton and Kruger. Below 3 seconds between Wilson-Weir and Rob Savage, and John Berry is carrying on, but he is blinking in and out of existence on iRacing here. But he's somehow still in connection with the race. You can see, there he is. Which, yeah, don't see that in Formula 1, do you? Must be the water. But yeah, this is tricky for John Berry. He might well be aware of what's going on, but he'll be very, very determined to still score some points. That'll be his view of it. But equally, Wilson Weir will be very wary that he, you know, with Berry in and out of existence, he might run into the back of him. There he is, right in between Savage and Wilson Weir. They're all Mission R drivers. I mean, if they can keep this top three, it'd be a very, very good night for them in the bronze category. Now, John Berry seems better now, and that on the side of the track there was Gabriel Yilmaz. I say that, and just out of connection there goes John Berry. He is back again. And they might be in a Discord together, but very, very concerned conversations potentially amongst the Mission R team. Very unsettling conversations potentially with disconnections in and out of one of their drivers. Let's keep monitoring it, see what happens. John Berry's left our existence again. And has been invisible now for quite a few seconds actually, so it might be, that might have been, no it wasn't. He's so close to Rob Savage though. And it might even appear to John Berry right now, his race might be appearing absolutely normal to him. That's the weird thing, but we all know that he's having issues there with his internet. Well, presumably it is his internet. The sim racing equivalent of your engine, pretty much. Because it can
Drive-through
go
penalty,
anytime.
car 212 and 26. Track limits.
Track limits penalties, 212 and 26. 26 as we lose John Berry again. 212 is Alan McCain, who's already in the pits to serve that, and 26 is Gabriel Yilmaz. Alan McCain, night gone from bad to worse. Now Rob Savage has dropped down a bit there. No, I wasn't paying attention. Because it's quite hard to follow when someone is blinking in and out. Now, here's Wilson Weir, and this is a move potentially on Rob Savage. Is this a let-by? It looks like it's, although a very early break. But through goes Wilson Weir, and that'll take the lead of this race. So there we go. Wilson Weir might well be on his way to a maximum points round tonight with that. And that's a flash of the lights from a driver behind there, not on the same lap. Simon Hunt here, 3 seconds behind, still has a chance on his debut tonight. Still has a chance at challenging for a win here, if he can maintain the pace with that of Adam Wilson Weir. Not too far behind these, that was Carl Oosthuizen passing through, lapping the bronze category leaders. Now Carl Oosthuizen will see the relative coming down between him and Lucas Seedor, who still has Ben McCluskey for company, ducking in and out of half-second gap. But Carl Oosthuizen, this might well be the longest 11 minutes of his life to guard this lead in the gold category. And now they are passing more and more back markers as well. And it's a flash of the lights from Oosthuizen to say to Adam Wilson Weir, please get out of the way. But Wilson Weir will be thinking, well, no, You get closer to me because I'm leading my category. I don't want to slow down. But because visibility is quite low here as well, it's quite misty out there, if you haven't noticed. And lights flashing just helps drivers communicate a bit better in these conditions. And Wilson Weir does pull over, lets off the throttle a little bit, doesn't lose too much time, and will let through the overall race leader, who has a 4-second gap to his nearest rival, Lucas Seedorf, and then 4.5 to Ben McCluskey.
Drive-through penalty, car 29 and 88, track limits.
Chris Mason, car 29. See a lot of penalties for track limits, and as it gets later on in this race, they start piling up those track limits. Car 88 is Martin Hobson. They are 8th in silver, 15th in gold, so they'll probably feel that my race is over anyway, but the drivers at this end of the field will be fairly conscious of that. Seedorf and McCluskey just made their way past Rob Savage. He loses a bit more time to Wilson Weir. It's now 3.7 seconds, and Simon Hunt really isn't too far behind. He can challenge for second place here in the dying moments of this race. The silver category, it is a strong lead for Cheverton from Jeffrey Kruger, 6 seconds back, who himself has a good lead of that second place from Lewis Mason. It'll be a good debut for Lewis Mason here, getting a podium in the feature race. Likewise, a very good debut for this driver here, Lucas Seedorf. I did see in the pre-season the pace that Seedorf had, and might well be able to mount a firm challenge for the championship with McCluskey this season, given what we've seen tonight. Very close actually is McCluskey. Closest he's been since losing the position to Seedorf originally. And Seedorf's trying to make his way past the back markers. That was Wilson Weir getting out. Oh no, McCluskey's had contact! And I think that was from Martin Hobson actually. And round he goes. Let's get another shot of that from above. Oh no. It wasn't Martin Hobson, I do apologise. It was a CSA car. I couldn't quite identify which one it was. But that has scuppered McCluskey's chance of second place in this race. He is now 10 seconds down from Seedorf with that spin. He hasn't lost any points, but he's lost a chance at second place. That's how he'll feel. Maybe even first place if Seedorf can catch up with Oosthuizen. Although the last lap there was virtually identical between 1 and 2 on the road here. And that's...
Drive-through penalty, car 7.9 and 3.3, track limits.
7.9 and 3.3. 33 is Corey Price, who's already gone straight into the pits, presumably to serve that. So a lot of drive, and it's good that you can hear it as well. So you can hear the race director calling out the penalties and how many there have been in this race. But that's Nigel Stock there with the missing front bumper on the car, not our race leader, just to clarify. Right, mid-pack of the gold category here. We mentioned a while ago there were some Quatermass drivers in a line with one another, but there's two here, and that's Mike Barber and Jack Pittis, and Mike Barber going a bit wide there, but they're in a battle here with Jamie Dory. Dory to the outside here. Probably not the favoured line on this section of the track, but that's the only place he could put it. But out braking, Pittas going into that right-hand kink there, but it does tighten out and it brakes very hard into the next hairpin, and being on the outside really isn't the advantage out there. But good battle here. Let's see if Jamie Dory can mount a move on Pittas in any other corner here. Good exit from the final corner there. We're not far from race end here, just a couple of laps to go. We'll divert our focus here to Oosthuizen, who is going to be under extreme pressure now, as he's less than 3 seconds now ahead of Lucas Seedorf, who, if he can tie this up, will be some going. This is the battle between them. Below 3 seconds. Next car ahead of him. Big battle here as well. Raf leading the battle for 5th, but Addy and Hobson right behind as well. My calculations are correct, it would be for 3 laps to go for Oosthuizen as he crossed the line there.
Drive-through penalty, car 991, track limits.
Oh, that's Lewis Mason, track limits penalty, 3rd position, and that means he'll lose his podium spot. And that is Phil McDougall right behind him as well. So, big drama for Lewis Mason in the latter part of this race, and there's a bumper in the middle of the track there, which normally a local yellow, normally a virtual safety car, but this is iRacing at the end of the day. And the question is, whose bumper is it, and which lucky marshal is going to come away with that bumper? Oh, bit of a corner cut there for Lewis Mason, but he's going to nip in the pits. He has to do it now because he hasn't got much time left to do so. And that'll be drive-through penalty serving for Mason and potentially losing more places. Such a shame, because it was quite a good drive in this race to maintain the top 3 positions throughout the race. Just nipping below 2 seconds between Carlos Oosthuizen and Seedorf. Oosthuizen frantically flashing his lights to the back marker ahead to let him through. Flashing the lights saying, I'm coming through, I'm coming through. I know that feeling. And past the back marker he goes. Now Seedorf needs to get past. Maybe 2 laps remaining. The next lap will be the final lap for these drivers. Passes probably on the better part of the track than what Oosthuizen had to deal with. 1.7 between them. This is the battle for the race win. And we may well be able to get driver reactions right after the race, potentially from our race winners. That'll be after the race via the interviews. Close between Raf and Hobson as well, as we head out the final corner and onto the main straight into turn number 1. Inside, held by Hobson, and there's also Alan McCain there trying to get by, and Alan McCain is actually a few laps down, but looking to make something of this race and get involved in some good battling. That's a change of position. That is Aaron Hobson into 5th place in category. 1.2 seconds. And it was 0.8 slower on that last lap for Oosthuizen than Seedorf. Can Seedorf do it? And I believe it is the final lap now. Flash of the lights there from Oosthuizen. He'll be very nervous. Off the back of a championship win in silver category last time we were racing, to winning gold category tonight. He will definitely take that. Into the final few corners now. Couple of back markers ahead. That'll unsettle him a little bit. But I think he's got enough of a gap. Just needs to make it around these final few corners. Seedorf is right behind him. He's within half a second. But Carl Oosthuizen comes around the final corner. He's going to win the gold category feature race here at round 1 at Misano. Lucas Seedorf with 2 second place finishes tonight. A real top performance from him. And presumably championship leader after tonight as well, as Ben McCluskey comes through 3rd place. Not a night replicant of what he did last season, but still a strong performance from him tonight. And 2 podium placings for him. Our winner in the silver category is heading through now for Aztec Racing. Matthew Cheverton will take a win in silver category. He was silver category and fighting for the championship in season 5. He was promoted to gold last season, but back down to silvers this season and started the season very well indeed. It's a win for Matthew Cheverton in his Mustang. Jeffrey Kruger, 2nd place. Very good night for him. Couldn't convert the maximum points tonight, but 2nd place and 1st place definitely can't be snuffed at. And Phil McDougall, on his return to the series, a somewhat part-time campaign last season, returns to round 1 here with a 3rd place in the feature race. Brilliant performance from him. And the bronze category top 3 have already crossed the line, but it's Adam Wilson-Weir who takes the win and maximum points tonight in bronze category. Strong night for him. Rob Savage, 2nd place. One of his best results in the category, to include last season. And Simon Hunt on his debut, 3rd place for the Quatermass Motorsport driver. Some real standout performances from a fair few drivers tonight. Our race 1 winner, Stefan Wessels, finished 10th in the end in the gold category. Otherwise, the only repeat winner in one of the categories tonight was Adam Wilson-Weir. Brilliant night's racing, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look at the results of this feature race before we head off to do some interviews with some of the drivers, live reactions. And Carl Oosthuizen takes a win in his new category, the gold category tonight. Just half a second in the end in front of Lucas Seedorf, who has 2 second place finishings tonight. Ben McCluskey, 2 third place finishings tonight, and will be 2nd in the championship heading out of tonight, presumably. Gavin Gardner, good performance in the feature race, a 4th place for him, and Jesse Payne-Wilkins on his return to the series, 5th position. Mike Barber will take 6th position from Jack Pittas on his debut tonight. Jamie Dory, 8th place from Ben Bennyworth, and Stefan Wessels, our race 1 winner, finishes 10th in this feature race. Jake Pitt in 11th place with Harry Langford. The drama early on in this race finishes 12th from Andy Fox. A lap or more down for Martin Hobson and Corey Price and Ben Altria, a DNF. Silver category now, and a strong start to the season for Matthew Cheverton, taking the win in this race by 3.6 seconds from Jeffrey Kruger. Arguably one of the strongest performances tonight across the field. Second place for him, and a near maximum points resulting for him tonight. Phil McDougall in third place on his return to the series, with Matthew Addy in fourth place. Despite the spin earlier on in this race, a strong recovery to fourth place and just behind third place in the end. Jason Raff, a good second race for him on his debut tonight. Fifth place for him from Jochen Siegert, and Lewis Mason rounding off the finishers on the lead lap. Nigel Stock, 8th position from Aaron Hobson. Paul Williams rounding off the top 10. Mark Baker 11th and Alan McCain in 12th. George Stone 13th. 14th is Yoffie Siemens and Chris Mason 15th. Bronze category, and as we mentioned, it is a maximum points round for Adam Wilson-Weir for Mission R, his new team, to win this feature race, and he won the sprint race. Rob Savage on one of his better results in NXTGEN Racing GT3, second place for him, and Simon Hunt on his debut, third position. Sammy Ariba, one of his best results in NXTGEN, fourth place for him from Michael Evangeli in fifth place on his debut. Mark Sykes, one of the hosts of this series, finishes sixth from Andy Chell, who held the lead of the race early on, but seventh place for him in the end. Stephen de Gravelia in 8th position from Gabriel Papaconstantino in 9th, rounding off the lead lap finishers. Andy Rooney, Gabriel Yilmaz in 10th and 11th. 12th is Wesley Lewin from Charlie Upson Wood in 13th. Davide Favo 14th. John Berry in 15th, and non-finishers were Elwyn Sykes, our defending bronze champion, and Stein Vatens. There we go. They were the results of tonight's shenanigans. Good action. Right, we are going to revert the tape back to the green flag from this race, and we do have some interviews waiting for us. And we are going to speak to our bronze category winner first of all. So we're just going to get ourselves ready in this comms booth before we get underway. But what a night's racing from a lot of drivers tonight. In particular, our bronze category winner tonight, Adam Wilson-Weir, picking up a maximum points resulting tonight. So we pull him into the chat here. Adam, welcome to the comms booth. A strong performance tonight, Adam. Maximum points in the bronze category. Quite the debut. Is this what you anticipated tonight?
Firstly, hello Alex, can you hear me okay?
Yep, all good.
All good. Yeah, I mean, pace was really good. I knew it was pretty quick coming into the session. As to say, the technical tracks seemed to really suit my driving style, especially with the Porsche. So I had high hopes, but overall very happy with the result for myself and the whole team.
So, new team for yourselves this season. So, how are things in the Mission R camp at the moment? Must be feeling pretty good after some good results tonight.
Yeah, well, we basically formed our team around driver development. So there's a lot of new guys coming in. You know, maybe not more experienced in the leagues, and we do a lot of endurance as well. So we're trying to prepare to try and get the driver skill level up to where it should be. And overall, like, you know, super happy with the results and performance they put in. They've really shown that they can do what they need to do.
Excellent stuff. So, a strong result tonight, but what about Watkins Glen next week? A less technical track, and we saw it last week. It's a very fast track with long sweeping corners. How do you think you'll fare there compared to this week?
Honestly, I'll probably see myself more mid-pack. It's just there's a lot of blind corners, you know, and as I say, there's a lot of, it's a fast track, so I think the Mustang will be quite strong there. So we'll just have to wait and see, and I'll just keep practicing with the guys, and we'll try and capitalise on the track.
Excellent stuff. Well, we'll see how you get on next week. I mean, given tonight's performance, next week might be good. I'll put my money on it. But I wanted to ask you about the Porsche as well. There's a lot of people choosing the Porsche in this season. What is it about that car at the moment that just seems so right for not just yourself, but presumably for other people? What is it from your opinion?
Well, from last season, as you know, I was in the Corvette. It didn't really suit my driving style. I'm more, I don't know, it's more stable. And I think because of the bop or nerf, some people say, to the Aqua and stuff like that, I think the Porsche is pretty high up there. Performance-wise, it didn't really get touched, so I think that's why there's a lot of people picking it at the minute. But it just suits my driving style, and I feel very comfortable in it. And I feel like I can attack and defend if I need to without any issues.
That's quite an important part of driving a car, particularly when you've got very front-end pointing setups like what you got in this series. So it's you're telling me it's a car very planted to the ground compared to others. Yeah,
well, there is quite a bit of understeer sometimes, but I usually put my brake pads a lot to the rear, so it gives me that rotation in the corners, which is why I perform so good in this track. As I say, it's a technical track, really tight corners, so brake bias on the rear is a must.
Amazing. Good insight there into the cars there. Right, okay. Adam, you're the first person we're interviewing this season from Misano. So anything you want to say on behalf of the team, and equally if you want to give a shout out to anyone who might be watching the stream, the floor is yours.
Yep, I just want to say good job to everyone in the team. Really strong performance tonight. Unfortunate about John, he had some connection issues. But I think it could have been a 1-2-3 tonight in the feature. But overall, really good. Really happy with the performance on the team. I just want to also give the shout outs to the sponsors. Thank you very much, David Wilson from Mods Ice Cream, for helping us secure the dream, keep us going, and also the Capture Athletics and W Energy. Thank you very much, guys.
Brilliant. And just before you head off, Adam, what did happen to John? I assume you're in Discord with him, but we saw he was blinking in and out of existence. Was it internet connection issues?
Yeah, I think John was having some issues. So basically, whenever Rob was first, John was second, I was third. John just disappeared completely. So we all had to work together and just ease off a bit, try and maneuver around John, because as I say, we can't see where he is. We don't want to knock him off and ruin our race or his race. But I think ultimately at the end he just dropped out, which is unfortunate. Yeah. But on to the next one, John. Yeah,
such a shame because he's driving well as well. Okay, lovely. Thanks very much for chatting to us, Adam. Don't be a stranger. Good luck next week. We'll see you at Watkins Glen.
Thank you, Alex. Have a good night.
You too. There we go. That was Adam Wilson on behalf of Misano, but also the driver tonight who secures maximum points in the bronze category. Now, a little bit of goss. We all like a bit of goss, don't we? There were a couple of drivers who were unsettled, let's just say, about him being in bronze category, but the people who decide the categories for this season evaluate the times and are evaluating a lot of data as well. They're also looking into other factors such as what category you were in last season, looking at your iRating as well, which is the scoring system that officially ranks you in iRacing. It all comes down to that, and drivers are allowed to develop and they're allowed to prove themselves within the categories they're in as well. And that'll be the case here with Adam. It looks like a very good start to what could be a strong bronze category campaign for him. But even still, last season we had someone else who won both races as well. Danny Switzer won both races last season in the opening round. So you never know what can happen. And last season, at the end of the season, bronze category was between 6 drivers, and the one who won the first race of the season wasn't in that battle. So anything can happen. Anything can happen during the season. Don't lose faith, ladies and gentlemen. And certainly don't lose faith, drivers. That's more who that was kind of directed to. But we're in for a good season. I just know that straight away. In the gold category, we've got Seedorf versus McCluskey and potentially Wessels as well. You could probably put other drivers in there who I know have the potential from previous performances I've seen, such as Harry Langford and Jesse Payne-Wilkins. In the silver category, well, Jeffrey Kruger definitely proved himself to be the force to be reckoned with in that category. But Matthew Cheverton putting down a good performance in race 2 as well. That will certainly put the spooks into Jeffrey Kruger there. With a strong performance in that second race. And of course, Adam Wilson-Weir. Who else will it be in the in the bronze category? Elwyn Sykes, defending champion, potentially? We'll have to see. Now, I don't think we've got any more interviews, unfortunately. Yeah, our usual suspects aren't here. But if anyone's watching the broadcast and you want an interview, ideally the race winners, please come have a chat. But while we're waiting for potentially more interviews, we'll look at the race results again. So the aforementioned bronze category, it's a win for Adam Wilson-Weir and maximum points for him tonight, with Rob Savage in second place and Simon Hunt rounding off that top three. Silver category, the top three was Matthew Cheverton, Jeffrey Kruger and Phil McDougall. And of course, Jeffrey Kruger won the first race of the night as well. And in the gold category, second and third was the same as the sprint race, but a different winner in the form of Carl Oosthuizen of CSA. But it was his CSA Team Woza teammate, Stefan Wessels, who won the sprint race. But Carl Oosthuizen, off the back of winning the championship in silver last season, straight into gold category and winning. Okay, I think we have got no more interviews, ladies and gentlemen, which is a bit of a shame. I would like to have had 2 or 3 interviews tonight. But we will wrap it up there. Now, next week, ladies and gentlemen, we have got Watkins Glen, no chicane, which means a very fast run to the horseshoe corner at the top of the hill at Watkins Glen. It'll be a brilliant, brilliant track for these GT3 cars. High speeds and long sweeping corners. A less technical track than that of this week Misano. But that'll be on next week, 1 week from today. We'll be going live at 20 minutes to 8 o'clock PM UK time. And it'll be live here on NXTGEN Racing on YouTube and on Facebook. And while I've got you, ladies and gentlemen, please give the video a like, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, and please do give the channel a subscribe if you are not already following. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, that's been the opening round of the season of the NXTGEN Racing GT3 Season 7, Round 1 at Misano. My name is Alex Everett, I've been your commentator tonight. Next week, we're heading stateside for the Watkins Glen International Circuits. Join us there in 1 week's time. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you to our sponsors, partners and affiliates that help put on the show: PowerMax, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC, Doble Motorcycles, and of course NXTGEN Racing hosting this racing for you. We'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen, at Watkins Glen. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, that's all from us here at NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.